There we go. Oh, that's great. There's a motif. We say for gardening work, modim anachnu lach, or gardening or housework, whatever, all the things we're doing. Helen? Oh, no. That's great. Beans or beets? With an N or a T? Bean or beet? Beans. Beans. For protecting beans from bunnies, we say, modim anachnu lach.
Aw, and the poor bunny.
I'll say that Eliana was away for a night last week, or 2 nights, and so this week, and so I just took the kids to Sarah's Ice Cream, and it was a nice little father-kiddo bonding moment. So for that, we say, modim anachnu lach.
Ice cream.
This one's in Wildwood, but I think it's a chain. I think it's a chain, yeah. Downtown Bethesda. Yes. Yeah. Wait, not Sarah's. That's, I don't know, because Jenny's is the really, I don't know. Yeah. Jenny's is kind of the bougie one. Sarah's is the one that has cookies and cream, my favorite. For all these gifts, oh God, we thank you. We sing your praises and we say, Amen. Oh, I'll do it now. It's not on here.
I don't have the prayer for Israel. I guess it's.
We're going to teach a little Torah, which is not on our cue sheet.
Oh, okay.
Should be.
Should we
right here.
Out, or should we go sit somewhere?
No, up to you. I mean, if you want to hear, up to you.
Yeah, maybe I'll go sit.
Next week, next week. Today's Friday. Next Wednesday, we will celebrate Juneteenth, celebrating an end to slavery in the U.S., which of course led to eventually the civil rights movement, people like Martin Luther King Jr., who of course famously once said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." It bends toward justice. It's a view, as you say, as we hope, that things get better, that there is progress. But it doesn't always feel that way, right? Sometimes it feels like it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or maybe even 3 steps back. Yes. For many of us lately, it has felt like those steps back as Jews. There's been the rise in anti-Semitism with campus protests and everything going on this week. Christian nationalism, increased racism. It's just so hard to be a Jew or someone related to Jews, and it's so hard to be a Zionist. So what is it? Which is it? Are we moving forward or are we moving backward? Well, our tradition tells us that we can hold both, and our tradition actually teaches both. So Parshat Naso, our Torah portion, includes the ordeal of the sota. The sota water, not soda water, sota water, is when a wife is accused of adultery. And so there's this elaborate ritual. There's an offering, and she has to drink this sort of magical spell water. And when she does, the truth will be revealed. If she has committed adultery, then her body becomes a little deformed. And if she didn't, then she stays the way she is. It's pretty sexist. It's pretty patriarchal. She's put on public trial. There's got to be a lot of shame there, whether she did or didn't do this. There's no equivalent for an accused man. And eventually, the Mishnah teaches that the rabbis did away with it. But not for moral reasons, as Rabbi Lisa Grushkow of Toronto teaches. Rather, the Mishnah says that the accusation of adultery just became too common. People were accusing women of adultery left and right, and so whether it's because they were actually cheating more often or because the men assumed they were cheating more often, either way, the rabbi said the sota ritual would not work anymore, and so they got rid of it. As Rabbi Grushkow points out, thus in these rabbinic texts, change results from a world that is getting worse. The rabbi saw a world in moral decline, crimes, hatred, despair, all on the rise, and so they acted. Maybe this is how we see the world right now with the anti-Semitism, the protests, and the graffiti on synagogues and museum directors' houses and all these things. Social media is just awash with awful tropes. And so it's easy to say the world is getting worse. Let's protect ourselves. Let's take that step back. But that's not the only Jewish view of the world. Rabbi Grushkow continues, our modern paradigm, in contrast to our sages, is fundamentally based on the assumptions of science, the Enlightenment, and emancipation. She says, we believe that it is possible for humanity to make changes based on progress, not decline. She notes that there are modern tragedies that dampen this view, the Holocaust, she states, but now we have October 7th. And she also emphasizes just how much progress we have made. She says, living in a world more openly diverse has taught us the importance of outreach and inreach for our communities in all their diversity. More and more people have rights and privileges. I believe that, generally speaking, across the board, people are better now than they were 50 years ago. I can't speak to 5, but 50 years ago. And of course, she adds, living in accordance with our new understandings of gender and sexual identity has enriched our clergy and communities. Our acceptance and embracing of women and LGBTQ folks has made our communities stronger. And so there is another world in which we say, the world is hard and we will make it better. This past weekend, many of us saw these two paradigms in person at the Capitol Pride Parade in DC. As we marched, we heard plenty of harsh words yelled at us. We, BJC, we happened to be put with the Federation and Washington Hebrew, worked great for my family, but Beit Mishpacha, a bunch of the Jewish groups were marching together, kippot, signs that said Jewish, and Jewish flags, Israeli flags. And so as we marched, we heard harsh words yelled at us. I myself heard a few shouts of Free Palestine shouted at us. There's a viral video. I didn't see this. I think Amy may have, I'm not sure. But there's a viral video of a woman who was attacking Jews at Pride. I think there's there's a few videos out there. These were shouted at us for being Jewish. And I've got to say, it just felt pretty anti-Semitic. But more often, I saw signs of hope. Whenever I would shout Happy Pride to someone in a keffiyeh or holding a Palestinian flag, they would usually respond back, Happy Pride, with a big smile on their face. When we marched by the announcer stand and they announced Bethesda Jewish Congregation, they added Shabbat Shalom, and there was a huge cheer from the crowd. That actually, I think, happened twice. And mostly there were just no incidents. Mostly it was people enjoying Pride and celebrating, saying all of us matter, saying we're going to continue to celebrate our identities and our expressions. And so for me, holding these intersections of LGBTQ identities and Jewish identities, I gotta say, I was proud to be there. And I was proud that BJC was one of the few synagogues that was there. At least in our group, in our section, there were 3. Maybe there were others elsewhere, but there weren't that many. And so in many ways, especially this last weekend, there's a tension for us theologically liberal Jews and Jewish adjacent family members. On the one hand, we feel this anti-Semitism, the paradigm of a world getting worse, and on the other, marching in pride, the paradigm of a world getting better. As Jews, we hold both. As realists, we see things that are worse now than they were last year. We see the pain and the difficulties, but we also have so much hope for pride, gender and sexual equality and affirmation, for Juneteenth, racial and ethnic celebration and justice, and for us, Jewish pride and support of Israel. The arc of the moral universe bends towards justice. May we all help it bend there. And we say, Amen. Take a moment to think about how we can take those steps forward toward justice.